my character was supposed to shoot him and take my son and leave. And my thing was, I wasn't going to be a part of black on black crime at the end of any movie that I was starring in. Wasn't going to have that happen. And I looked at him and I looked at the kid and I put the gun down and I looked him in his eyes and he cocked the trigger and I said, "You wait a minute, motherfucker." That's what I said to him. You wait a minute. You motherfucker, you wait a minute. And it still brings tears. Because it was there. I told him, "You wait a minute, you motherfucker, you wait a minute. And let me talk to my fucking son." Y'all didn't see that.
Nope. Did you know when you were doing South Central that it was going to have the impact that it had? Did you knew that, okay, we have something special here?
Yes. I didn't know it was going to have the impact, but I knew it was a story that I wanted to tell. Growing up, the one thing I always wanted to have, and I told you that moment when my dad came and got me out of juvenile hall, right? It was a fond memory of mine because that was a moment when my dad showed up. He wasn't always there. My dad never played baseball with me. He never taught me how to shoot a basketball. He never taught me how to run a football. You know what I mean? He never taught me how to act. When I went to elementary school, kindergarten, I filled out the paperwork to get into the school. The only thing I didn't do was fill out the insurance forms because my mother had that information. But the application to get into school and all that shit, I filled it out myself because my sister, who's 2 years older than my brother, made sure I was the smartest person in the room. Wherever I went, add, subtract, multiplication, divide, all that before I ever set foot in a school. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like read, all that. 3rd grade, I was taking speed reading after school. When all the rest of the kids went home, I had a class, I was taking speed reading.
Wow.
Like literally, my sister made sure. She was like, "No, you going." And my brother, like I told you, he was the coldest cat in everything. And that was my role model. And my sister on the intellectual side, that was my role model. Like she was the smartest person I knew. And he was the most athletic, like whatever. I don't remember his grades or anything like that, but my sister was a fucking genius.
Yeah.
And she made sure I knew everything I needed to know. And I mean, everything. There was nothing my sister didn't teach me. Nothing my brother didn't teach me. And that was because my mom worked swing shift.
Right.
We would get up and go to school in the morning, but we couldn't wake her up because she had just got off work at 12 midnight, 1 o'clock, something like that. She went to work from 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and she worked till, 11:30 at night. And she wouldn't get home till 12, and she needed to sleep, so we couldn't wake her up. I had to learn how to cook my own breakfast. I still have a scar on my stomach right here from standing up on a chair, making eggs when I was 8 years old. Scrambling eggs. I was 8 years old, scrambling my own eggs, and the cast iron skillet was hot, and it poked me in the stomach. So yeah, why did I talk about that now?
You was talking about South Central.
South Central.
Yeah.
And my dad. And so my dad wasn't always around. He wasn't always around. When I made that movie with the purpose of telling black men that they needed to go get their kids out the gangs and teach them how to be men. Right? Did it on purpose because of my father not always being around. You know what I mean? I wanted that. But it wasn't necessarily gangs, though. And I think that's the thing that threw me was it wasn't really gangs. It was just father-son for me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
For me, it was father-son. The gang thing just happened to be the backdrop they used to tell that story.
Right.
So when I made that movie, that's why I made it. And I remembered after we made the movie and after it did what it did, I told myself, never again will I say to God, It doesn't matter if I make money. It doesn't matter, you
Mhm.
know. Whatever happens, I just want this movie to reach everybody.
Mhm.
And so God did that for me,
Yes, absolutely.
right? Yeah, it didn't do nothing in the theater. I didn't get paid because it's low budget.
Mhm.
I mean, I made some money, you know what I mean?
Right.
Whatever it was. But the movie had the impact that
Exactly.
I asked God to allow it to happen.
Yeah, you achieved a bigger purpose.
And so, yeah, man, for that reason, I did do it for that reason. And two, here's another story. A lot of people don't know this. Byron Menz, the guy who played Ray Ray in the movie, he was a bringer of truth, I should say, and so was I. So at the end of the movie, my character was supposed to shoot him and take my son and leave. And my thing was, I wasn't going to be a part of black on black crime at the end of any movie that I was starring in. Wasn't going to have that happen. And then another thing, was the whole light skin thing. They wanted to give me a wife that, right? And I said, no, we're not doing that. I want a chocolate sister to play my wife in this movie. I'm serious. This is all shit that we had to go back of, me and the director or whatever, We had to see. But anyway, so Byron was like, no, man, we do this movie, I'm not just gonna put the gun down, you know what I'm saying? We gotta work something out. We gotta do something, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just wasn't gonna give it up.
Yeah.
And if you don't shoot me, how you gonna get the gun out of my hand? Like, that type.
Right.
So days went. Just go in the room, me and him, and just improv, do whatever we could do, just trying to figure out how to get this scene.
Right.
And we had to find it, and we couldn't find it. And then one day we were doing something, and I just said, you know what? Fuck it, man. Let's just go do it.
Yeah, and see what happens.
And see what happens.
Yeah.
And we did it. And everything I did at that moment was not me. It's just, I opened up as a vessel, and it all just poured in and poured out. Not the dialogue, but the delivery.
Yeah.
Just shoo, shoo,
Wow.
shoo, shoo. And I just remember sitting there and doing it. And I wasn't there. It was happening. And I remember the little kids started crying.
Yep. Yep.
And Byron started crying. And the dude that was behind me started crying. And I looked around, and the cameraman was crying, and the AD was crying, and the costume was crying, and the director was crying. And everybody lost it, But it wasn't me. I couldn't take credit for it. You feel me? Like, I couldn't take credit for it.
It's a powerful scene.
Yeah.
Dude, but it's like, and I tell people that all the time. So when people come up to me and be like, man, that scene, man, all I do is go, yeah, you a bad motherfucker. You know what I mean?
I used to watch it so much.
I don't mean to like curse when I reference, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's like I
So those weren't even conscious choices you were making
I honestly have to give it up. I have to give it up because I just let go and let God, and it happened. And the mother put the gun down. And the kid, if you would have seen the video, because they shot it on video, right? They shot it, but it was on video. The kid went like this. He yanked his hand away from that gun. He was like, "Oh, like, what's going on?" Like, he didn't know what to expect. He was like, And then Byron was like, "Whoa, okay, you went there, okay,
Yeah.
So that was real.
Yeah.
take him, take him." That type of
it was
thing.
so many great levels with that, because it was like you were fighting with yourself, but still trying to atone and still trying to turn that corner, And then finally you let the new you come through when you got down and kind of just pleaded with him. You know what I mean?
I did too. And see, and that was the thing. And that was the thing nobody saw. Nobody saw that. Because I really did plead with him. In the movie, I'm going to blow your fucking head off. Right? Yeah. And then I'm looking at the kid, and I look at him, and then I put the gun down, and then I go, Jimmy,
Yep.
It's funny
Yep.
to me now.
Yeah.
Because I go,
Yeah.
Jimmy, if you do this, and
Yeah.
if you do that. And when we did it, right? When we did it, and I looked at him and I looked at the kid and I put the gun down and I looked him in his eyes and he cocked the trigger and I said, you wait a minute, motherfucker. That's what I said to him. You wait a minute. You motherfucker, you wait a minute. And it still brings tears to my eyes. Because it was there. I told him, you wait a minute, you motherfucker, you wait a minute. And let me talk to my fucking son. Y'all didn't see that.
Nope.
But that's what came out of me at that moment. And I hit him with that, and he, and that's how it all.
Did that come from?
No, dude, that was the thing.
But I'm saying, but subconsciously, was that kind of the remnants of your dad and y'all's relationship kind of feeding off of that?
No,
you wanted your dad to come get you like that.
I just remember locking in with him and having to make sure he didn't shoot me in my face before I talked to my son. That's all that moment was about.
Got you.
And that's how it all came through. And I remember it just went choom, choom, and it came, and I settled it, and then I addressed my kid. Y'all didn't get that part.
Right.
All y'all got was the
the
little moment with the son, right? And everybody was like, whoa, that was some badass. That was this. That was that. That was this. I was like, yeah, well, if you knew what I had to do to get to that moment.